Welcome to all. We know that adolescence is a stage where changes takes place cognitively, mentally, socially and physically. During this transitional process, they face a lot of issues and challenges. And to confront these issues and challenges, adolescents really need to have different life skills to deal with issues and problems. Today's video is about life skills for dealing with issues and problems. To talk with us, to discuss with us, we have our distinguished expert, Professor Arvind Kumar Jha from School of Education, IGNOU. Myself, Dr. Elizabeth Kuruvilla. And let I introduce our distinguished expert. Professor Arvind Kumar Jha enjoys the distinction of having his bachelor's, master's, MPhil and PhD, all degrees in education from University of Delhi. And before joining Indira Gandhi National Open University, he was a faculty and dean, School of Education at Baba Ambedkar University, Lucknow, Central University of Himachal Pradesh, and Mahatma Gandhi International Hindi University, Wardha. He has held the positions of Director, Distance Education and Dean, Academics and Dean, Planning at MGAHV, Wardha. He has been a Fulbright Nehru International Education Administrators Fellowship Award for the year 2016 and 17 and Inspired Teacher Awardee by President of India. He has visited some international universities such as University of La Sierra, University of Riverside at Riverside, California, USA, and New York State University at New York. Like that, he has visited several international universities. He has published many papers in national and international journals and has written several famous books entitled Nyaya Philosophy, Epistemology and Education, Constructivist Epistemology and Pedagogy, Insight into Teaching, Learning and Knowing. He is also credited with 4 other publications with international publisher Pearson, Measurement and Assessment in Education, Research in Education, Qualitative Research for Education and Fundamentals of Educational Psychology. Welcome, sir, to this session. In this video, we will cover the main points such as importance of life skills for dealing with issues and problems, how life skills are categorized for dealing with issues and problems, and how we can develop critical thinking, creative thinking, and how decision making act as a life skill, and how problem solving can be considered as a life skill, and what strategies we can use to develop life skills among adolescents. After going through this video, you should be able to recognize the importance of life skills for dealing with issues and problems, to categorize the life skills required for dealing with issues and problems, to develop understanding about how critical thinking and creative thinking are essential for adolescents as life skills, to ascertain how decision making is important for adolescents, to develop understanding about how problem solving is considered as a skill, to identify the strategies for developing problem solving skills among adolescents. Professor Jha, how far life skills for dealing with issues and problems are essential for adolescents?
Thank you. First of all, before I respond to this question, that what is the importance of life skill for dealing with issues and problems, let's try to understand the difference between issues and problems. It's a general tendency in our society that we use 2 words simultaneously or together, right? But there is a sharp distinction between the two. There is a difference between the 2 words, issues and the problems. And now, what is the difference and how it should be perceived? I would like to answer this question. The first thing that we should remember is this, that the issues are there to be resolved. I repeat, issues are there to be resolved and problems are there to be solved. Now, if you understand the difference between how to resolve a thing and how to solve a thing, I think we'll be able to deal with issues and problems in an efficient way. At the same time, as far as the importance of life skill for dealing with issues and problems is concerned, I would like to underline here that there is a need for a human being not only to live, but to live an effective and efficient life. Effective and efficient life. And for that, this is not possible just by attaining proficiency in life skills that lead to self-understanding and self-management, and the skills that help to learn to live together. Along with these skills, what is needed is that how to deal with issues and problems, because maybe there may not be issues and problems related to you, but if you are living in a society, there will be occasions or at times when you will find, oh my God, there are issues and problems with people's lives, and if they are not happy, you can't remain happy. So to live effective and efficient life, we must know how to deal with issues and problem, and what kind of skills will help us to deal with issues and problems effectively. So the first thing, skill that is coming to my mind right now is critical thinking, which is generally considered as the 21st century skill. The second is the creative thinking. The third is decision making. Fourth is problem solving. And in addition to this, there could be many more, but for the time being, these are the skills which are coming in mind, which we understand it better. They will help us to deal with issues and problems.
Really, sir, what you have stated that these skills are very much needed. But when we come to critical thinking, how can we consider critical thinking as an important life skill?
I'm very happy that you have asked this question. You know, some people perceive, I mean, most of the people, not some people, but most of the people perceive it to be to have this skill of critical thinking means to be able to criticize. No, that's not the case. See, critical thinking is a specialized kind of thinking skill that one should have. So when I say, okay, he is a man of critical thinking, or he or she is a woman of critical thinking, or he is a person of critical thinking, what does it mean? See, the critical thinking is a skill that helps us to understand things, happenings, actions, etc., analytically. So if you are in a position to perceive and understand anything analytically, it means you possess ability to think critically. So critical thinking is, if you'll ask me how to put it in an abstract word, then I will say critical thinking is the analysis of facts to form a judgment. I would like to repeat, it's a very important phrase. Critical thinking is the analysis of facts to form a judgment. So when you form a judgment, okay, it is a right or it is a wrong. Now, how do you form it? You form on the basis of analysis. So what are the skills, as you have asked me, that are required to make myself a critical thinker? So first is that I should always be inquisitive and curious. And by implication, our adolescents should always be inquisitive and curious, or to develop the art of being inquisitive and curiousness. Second, very important, you know, it is said that no thesis will grow until and unless there is an antithesis to that thesis. So being open to thesis and antithesis to a particular argument is very, very important, right? For example, most of the people will say that the war is dangerous or the COVID pandemic has been dangerous. But COVID pandemic has been good also. See the different kind of economic growth has taken place. People have understood the importance of relationship. That, oh my God, face-to-face interaction is very, very important. Similarly, about the war. War is not always bad. Sometimes war is good also because it has given birth to new inventions, right? Then the third skill that is included in critical thinking is being able to think systematically, not only analytically. I repeat, being able to think systematically, not only analytically. Next, you should be able to deduct logically. You shouldn't, deduce things illogically. Most of the time, what is happening out of our ignorance or not to able to have complete facts, we deduce illogical deductions. So being able to deduce logically is one of the skills that is included in critical thinking. And above all, whatever I have said, two things are very important to be a critical person or to be a person of critical thinking. First is to be able to have questioning skills. It means you should be in a position to question the fundamentals. You should not accept anything and everything because it is given by great authorities or by traditions or by holy book. No. Here I would like to quote Buddha, who says, don't accept anything and everything until unless that is correct from your logical perspective, right? So being able to have questioning skill is very, very important. Last but not the least, the skill which is included in critical thinking is being able to reflect. And that's a very important. Whether you have done things rightly or wrongly, you should develop the art of being reflective, right? And out of reflection, many good things have taken place in this world. So these are the skills which, with the help of which you grow yourself, then you will become, I'm sure, one day a person of critical thinking.
As you stated, there are various skills in critical thinking. How can we develop critical thinking among adolescents?
As I said, I would like to start with the last point. The first that is important is learning the art of questioning. Many times in our life related to knowledge and relationship, we accept things without questioning it. So questioning is the key.
Yes.
See, if we compare the adolescent boy and the small boy, right? You will find small boy asks a lot of questions, but as you grow, gradually you start, learning to adjust things, and you don't question. But the first important skill that is needed to become a person of critical is learning the art of questioning. The second, which is very important, is that thinking in favor of a thesis as well as antithesis to that particular argument. Democracy is good. At the same time, democracy is bad, isn't it? Then, what else can be done for the adolescents, particularly in the school environment, or even in the society at large, that from time to time we should organize debate and discussions, right? Group discussions could be one of the ways to do that. Then logical analysis of any happenings, that why this is happening, why this only is happening, not something else is happening, isn't it?
Yes.
And these are the ways with the help of which you will develop your logicality. And once you develop your logicality and rationality, definitely you will be on the right path of critical thinking. So learning the art of arriving at a conclusion using both the methods, the inductive and deductive method. I would like to explain this with a suitable example. Suppose an adolescent boy is learning what will be the what formula can be developed with the help of which I can calculate simple interest. Now, teacher comes and says, and even in the book it is written, simple interest is equal to P into R into T by 100. Can you learn the art to arrive at this formula using both the methods? From general to specific and specific to general. If you are in a position to do that, it will become the habit of your mind. And I think that in that way, you will develop the skill of becoming a critical thinker.
Yes, truly. It's a good example. Like critical thinking, another skill that is needed is creative thinking. How far we can consider creative thinking as a life skill?
See, the common understanding regarding the creative thinking is that creativity means something new, innovative, etc., etc. However, in present time, I'm not saying this is not the correct understanding of creativity, but in present time, there are people, they advocate that anything which is useful may be the creative one, right? If you convert anything which is unuseful into a useful thing, that's a creative exercise. And for me, I being a constructivist thinker, I think that for me, construction is creativity. Okay, so if you are in a position to construct something, it means you are a creative person. Okay, for example, when Pythagoras looked at right angle triangle, he constructed a beautiful equation, h square equal to p square plus b square. That is also a kind of creativity, right? So creative thinking demands to be fluent, to be flexible, to be original, to be elaboration, which I'll explain gradually.
Okay. And when we think of adolescents, they are in a stage of identity crisis. And during this stage, whatever they state may not be considered by others. And in that context, sometimes adolescents feel some kind of confusion in making decisions. Could you please explain us how far decision making as a life skill is important for adolescents?
See, to make decision again, I think in today's time we need to be creative one. Okay, and when I said to be creative one means you should be in a position to be fluent. So fluency as one of the characteristics of creativeness, like generations of ideas. To be flexible one, I mean ability to shift the perspective. Okay, perspective A is not working, so I should use the perspective B. If the perspective B is not working, I should be in a position to use the perspective C. The third, the originality. People say it is a conceiving something new, but I'll say conceiving something new which is useful also. And last, the fourth characteristics of to be creative is to be able to elaborate. Here, elaboration simply depends building of many ideas. Now, I'm coming to your question that with respect to decision making, how these things will help, right? These things will help when, in totality, these creative characteristics you use for your decision making, or in a subtle word, what steps you need to take. I'll say the first step is problem finding. Before you make any decision related to a particular problem, that whether I should go for A or I should go for B. It happens in your life, and it will happen in your life. So problem finding, then problem stating, then option finding and decision. Let me elaborate it further. So when I say problem finding, it means locating the problem, okay, and analytically studying in detail. Sometimes we are unable to make decision because we don't analyze and study in detail. The second one, problem stating, is the second very important of decision making. Problem stating means looking into all the dimensions of the problem and coming out with its definitions. That's the commonly agreed one. The third, option findings, to generate as many alternatives as possible through which the problem in question could be solved. So that's why, we always look for options. Okay? In democracy also, it's the enlargement of the choices, so enlargement of the options. And last but not the least, that is the decision making, to study critically each option and arriving at the most appropriate options. And for me, to make any appropriate decision, it's very important you have to be creative. So these are the decision making steps which will certainly help people to arrive at the right conclusion and making a right decision.
As rightly you have pointed, there are various steps for decision making. But when we come to problem solving, how can we consider problem solving as a life skill?
Life and problem both are integral part of human beings. It means life without problem cannot be imagined. I won't mind to say that the problems are essential in one's life. And that's why I read one article, many of you might have read, that, oh God, why don't you give me problems? Don't you have faith in me that I am your sons and daughters? I'll be able to solve my problems. Right? So problems are very important, and problem and life are integrated one. Problem cannot be thought of without life. If there is no life, there is no problem. If there is a life, there will be problem first. Now the question is that how to develop problem solving skills.
Yes.
That's very important. See, the first step to solve any kind of problem, it is a personal problem or community problem, social problem or emotional problem or intellectual problem or any kind of problem. The first thing, there are many strategies, but some of the strategies that I would like to talk about. The first is finding and framing the problem. First, try to find out the problem, right? And then frame the problem, right? And once you have found out the problem and you have framed the problem, then what you do? Now think creatively, constructively, and critically to develop good strategies to solve that problem. So maybe strategy A, strategy B, strategy C, strategy D, right? And if you do that, then the third step comes, that is called evaluating the solution. So evaluation of the solution. It's not that, okay, strategies are there, now you just apply it and solve it. No. Before you use that strategy to solve that problem, you need to evaluate whether it is going to remain effective or not effective. You will find many a days, like in our socio-political life, government takes a decision, right? And they think that, oh, it will be beneficial for the society or the larger masses. But suddenly find, oh, people are not ready to take that. And that's why it is very important to evaluate the strategy before you apply it for the solution. But suppose even it is solved, the fourth step related to problem solving skill is consider rethink and redefine, right? It means the problem should be, rethought and redefined, so that if the similar problem of similar nature, right, arise in future, we should be better equipped to solve that problem. Now, the question is, how can it be done? See, sometimes in a simulated environment you can do, but sometimes you can do in a purely natural settings. But all said and done, I would like to remind you that you learn the art of developing problem solving skills and number of strategies, right? And number of skills. But the problem related to life, with actual life in actual setting, will always be completely different from the problem in artificial situation. But yes, now what to do to face with that, right? We should always be ready. I'll give you a good example. See, right now I'm connected with you virtually, isn't it? Before pandemic, nobody had this clue that the time will come when physical touch will be so dangerous. So it will be better to remain in touch virtually, right? So these are some of the steps, friends, that I have talked about to develop, which will help you to have problem solving skills.
Hope that all of you might have understood how to develop different skills like that: critical thinking, creative thinking, decision making, and problem solving skills to deal with issues and problems. Hope that you might have enjoyed the session and try how to develop and what are the strategies could be adopted to develop different life skills to deal with issues and problems.